Welcome to Dove and Dragon Radio. I'm your host, M.L.Ruscsak. I'm here with special guest, Evelyn Wang. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are very welcome. Now, I see that you're a hypnotherapist
Yes.
and an NLP coach. Now, for our listeners out there, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, hypnotherapy is actually using hypnosis in a therapeutic setting. So we're utilizing hypnosis, which is a form of trance. And what we, in our industry, we call it more of a deep relaxation. So a lot of people associate hypnosis with trance-like state, as you see in the movies, Hollywood movies, with a little watch and getting into people's mind. And that's not what we do. We actually help someone to learn how to relax. So when someone is in a very relaxed state, your mind is open, you're more of a receptive learning state. And then we tap into the deeper part of an individual for change and improvement. And NLP, it stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, which just stands for neuro, which is our mind, neurology. And linguistic is language that we speak, and also language we speak to ourselves, which is called self-talk, and the language with this, we communicate with body language. So, and also programming, which is our behavior, is what we learn through the years. So NLP is just a study of the relationship between your mind and body and how we can create change, to help someone create change, to find out how they're speaking to themselves. Because we know that our self-talk is not very beneficial to us a lot of times, because there's a lot of circular thoughts about what could go wrong and the what ifs. So we're utilizing their language, help them to find out how they create their problem, and then form a new strategy or help someone learn, learn behavior, a new behavior to create change that they want.
See, this is perfect because I talk about this a lot, depending on where I'm talking at. But at the same time, if you're telling yourself you can't do something, or you're telling yourself all the negative what ifs, or you're telling yourself I will never be, or I am not, you're holding yourself back from your true potential.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of times too, people think, well, if I repeat the affirmations, the more I repeat them, then it's going to be embedded in my neurology and body. However, what happens is when you're saying things to yourself, you forgot the other senses. Sometimes when we're saying things to ourselves, there's an image in our mind. So you could be saying, I can do this, I can be successful. You can keep repeating that mantra to yourself or affirmation to yourself. However, most people don't realize there's an image in your mind, or you may be hearing something, what your mom and dad said something to you. Oh, you're never going to be amount to anything. There's some conversation going on, yet you're still repeating the affirmations. So in NLP and the coaching and hypnosis, what we want to do is to incorporate all the senses that they are congruent with each other as you are saying the affirmation. Then that will be able to create a permanent change rather than a temporary fix.
That is a perfect point of view, because how many times do we say, I can do this, and then we don't follow through? Well, why don't we follow through? It's because that negative, wherever the negative is, that's in the back of our mind that we might not even be aware of a lot of times, is what we have to get past. Well, until we have someone that says, hey, we need to look deeper, not just I can, but go past the I can to why do you feel that you can't? What is really holding you back?
Right, right. And that's what we want to find out and explore the root cause of the issue. You know, a lot of times those people remember a very major significant event, but it's not so much that's really way in the past. So a lot of times it's what we learn when we're very young, at very young age, because we learn a lot of things from our primary caretakers, you know, typically is our parents. So our parents learn from their parents. So whatever that we learn from our parents, whether it's good or bad, when we're young, we don't have the critical mind to distinguish, oh, mom, you shouldn't talk to me like that because I'm 2 and I'm gonna remember that the rest of my life. So at that point in your life, you're absorbing everything. You're a sponge, so you're absorbing all the information. You're watching the behavior. You're not really understanding what they're saying, but you're learning about, excuse me, you're learning about, I'm sorry.
Okay. We live in the digital world.
Yes, we do. Sorry about that. Why wouldn't it stop? There we go. Let me just turn this off. Excuse me. There we go. Okay. So where was I?
We learn from when we're young. We're a sponge. We pick up everything. How much do we hear when we talk to our pediatricians? Our children have their critical years before they're 6 years old. Everything they're going to learn, basically, all the basics are taught before the age of 6. So you're teaching your child, oh, come here, and you're talking negative to the child at 4, 5, 6 years old. They're going to pick up that negative behavior versus the hugs, cuddles, and kisses, and teaching them the positive affirmations.
Correct. And also promoting their individuality. You know, a lot of times is when I work with children, many times is they're repeating what the parents are saying to them. You know, and I know the parents want the best for their kids. So many times is when they're reprimanding their children, it's more about the negative. They focus more on the negative rather than the positive. So it's also during that learning period, it is very, very important to include more of the positive enforcements rather than negative ones.
Exactly. It was like when my daughter was little, she would draw on the walls. What toddler doesn't draw on the wall at some time? It was either the opportunity to yell and scream and punish the child for drawing on the walls, or, okay, she has an autistic gift. It doesn't matter if it's a scribbles or not. You want to nurture their gift. Baby, now listen to mommy. It's not good to draw on the walls. If you want to draw, here's a chalkboard, here's a papers, here's the, give the positive where they can do what they're doing, rather than the negative. You don't want to be drawing on the walls because whatever wording, verbiage you want to use.
Right. And it's replacing a behavior with another one. You know, that's what we're doing. What I do with my clients as well is you're doing a behavior for many, many years. So what we're doing is we are having a replacement behavior. So as we unlearn a old behavior, we're learning a new behavior to replace the old one. So then that's working better for you.
Right. It's all about finding the positive to that negative. You can make a negative out of anything. Well, you can make a positive out of any negative. You just have to find the way to do it in a constructive manner that actually works.
Yeah, because a lot of times, when we're living life, there's all these paradox, right? There's light and
Mhm,
dark, conscious mind and subconscious mind,
mhm.
right? There's good and bad. So the bad and the negatives are there to teach us something. There's a message there. So whatever message that is obviously teaching us something to do something different. So
Mhm.
it's just feedback of what we can do. Okay, we made a mistake. So then what do we learn from that and how are we going to move on? So it's
Exactly.
really being able to know how to manage. I mean, of course, a lot of times we're human beings, we're going to fall back to our regular scheduled program, a lot of times,
Mhm.
but it's more so than not to be more consciously aware of what you're doing.
Exactly. It's not, we're all humans. We are not robots. We are meant to have feelings. We're
Mhm,
meant to have emotions, and we're meant to make mess ups and mistakes. It
mhm,
happens. It's part of being human.
mhm.
Now, we take away the I am human and go, okay, we have to find the right paradox that makes sense so we can be happy and productive humans.
Right, right. Because it's like without us, when we learn so many behaviors, we do it so much automatically. You don't think about it. And for
Mhm.
example, it's a smoking client. They want to quit smoking, but they want to know how to quit. Well, the first thing to know how to quit is to smoke consciously, rather than unconsciously or
Mhm.
subconsciously, because people are just grabbing that cigarette without even going through the critical mind anymore. So by stop smoking is learning how to be consciously aware. Oh, now I'm about to pick up that cigarette. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's going on at that particular moment when I'm reaching for that cigarette? So the more you are consciously aware of what you're doing,
Mhm.
the more you'll be able to replace that.
Right. It can be a cigarette. It could be a food addiction. It could
Mhm,
be addiction of anything. If you take it from the subconscious, it's 5 o'clock, so I have to have XYZ because,
mhm,
it's a time or whatever I do at this particular moment. And we change it to why do I need whatever that addiction is? If it's a food, is it cigarette, is it something more explicit? Why
mhm,
do I need it? Do I need it because my clock says it's 5 o'clock, or is it Pacific time, or is it a feeling that I'm having? Is
mhm.
it, what is the reason behind you need that item? Doesn't
Right,
matter what the item is, you have to go through the critical thought process. Once you take the critical thought process, now I don't want that extra Snickers bar. I don't
mhm.
want that cigarette. I don't need it because just because it's my normal time to have it, I don't physically or mentally need it or want it.
Right, right. And then at that moment, when the person say, I don't want it, then it's like, what do I want instead?
Mhm.
So each behavior, we're replacing it with another behavior because they have to be doing something, right?
Right.
Rather than not doing anything. So it is about when someone sets a goal or they want to replace a behavior. So consciously they know it, but unconsciously is, or subconsciously, is what they learned before. It does not jive with what they want
Right.
consciously. So with hypnosis, hypnotherapy, and coaching, it's just bridging the conscious and the subconscious mind together. So you're walking the walk. You're doing what you're supposed. You're doing what you're saying you're doing, rather than not doing it. And this is the work that I do, is to bridge the conscious and the subconscious mind together for permanent change.
See, it goes back to, are you happy? Is your subconscious and your conscious mind both at peace? Are you actually happy? Or are you going through life just going through the motions?
Mhm.
You actually need a coach, you need a mentor, you need a professional to make sure the subconscious is lining up with the conscious.
Right, right. Because our subconscious mind is very slippery,
Mhm.
because throughout the day, there's voices that pop up in our mind or memories that pop up. You're not even thinking about it. That's the work of the subconscious. Subconscious will present messages or issues that you need to pay attention to, just like when I work with people with pain management, the body is communicating with the person because the subconscious mind can't speak. So then it's going to express what it needs to express through the body.
Right.
So that's, I mean, our mind is so powerful that many of us have not tapped into how powerful it really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can take, if we go through depression is not just mental, it's physical. You have physical pain because your subconscious is trying to tell you something. It can't actually tell you, so it manifests itself into physical pain or physical exhaustion or something. You have to be able to tap into the subconscious, and 99% of us can't do that alone.
Right. Even us coaches can't do it alone, even though we have the tools. That's the reason, because of how slippery the subconscious mind can be, that you need someone to guide you through the process. I mean, there's certain things that an individual can do. There are people that has such great willpower, they can set their mind to it and they're ready to go. That's a certain percentage of people. A big percentage of people really do need that guidance to help them, go over the threshold.
Right. I'll say the 1% is the ones that have the strong willpower, that no matter the odds against them, they can overcome it. I'll say that's 1%. But the vast majority of us, we need coaches, we need mentors, we need people that understand what science tells us about the mind. We need the people that can go back through your memories, get you relaxed, and find the moment that caused the anxiety, caused the depression, caused the addiction, caused the whatever the issue is, and find this so you can be happy, but subconsciously and consciously.
Right. And this is the work, is having a coach or hypnotherapist to help someone go through that process and really explore their inner resources. The resources are already there, but a lot of people, most of us, forget about them. What we like to do is compartmentalize. I was confident 10 years ago when I was doing something. But then they're doing something now, 10 years later, they feel like I don't have the confidence to do so. But what the coach can do is guide them and tap into your resources 10 years ago. There's that confidence. Now we're going to grab that confidence and then tie it into what you're doing now, because it's already happening. It's generated from that person. It's already in there.
Right. We all are born with self-confidence. We are all born with the willpower to move forward, to thrive, to grow, and to learn. We are all born with that. We lose that through adolescence and adulthood because of what we see, what we hear, and what we're taught at a very early age.
Right. Yeah. And so through the process of helping someone do that, it is a process, because it depends, it's like peeling an onion, right? So it's all these layers, right? So we're going through the layers. And what's really interesting is your subconscious mind, even sometimes when you want to work on a specific problem or a challenge, what happens is the subconscious mind may take you to resolve another issue that you may not think that's connected, but it is, because it's still the individual's challenge. That's what's so interesting working with the subconscious mind.
Right. How many times have you looked at a patient and they have an addiction to one thing, but it goes deeper to a trauma or something that, hey, I don't think I'm beautiful.
Right.
It's not something they correlate consciously. They have an addiction because they don't have self-love.
Right.
That's the core issue.
Yeah. And that's when they discover that, it's like, how did that even, where did that come from? That's the first discovery. It's like, whoa, the aha moment.
Mhm.
And once they get the aha moment, then there's a lot more to discover. Well, that's the beauty of the work. It's so subtle. I mean, the change is so subtle, is that some people, even some of my clients, like, I wonder if it's the hypnosis that we're doing that is creating this change, because it's so natural and so subtle that, and I tell some of my clients, it's, well, we're not taking, aspirin for a headache. That's an instant relief. This is a process of permanent change. That's why it takes a little longer.
Mhm. You're not going to
However,
see, yeah, you're not going to see overnight results. It may
right.
take 6 to 8 weeks to start seeing a
Mhm,
result,
mhm.
and you won't see a fuller result for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, everybody is different.
Right.
So with my sessions customized to the person. So
Mhm.
if I have 5 clients that comes to see me with panic attack, I will work with them individually differently, because everyone does it differently.
Mhm.
The word panic attack, we all know what that means, but as the individual, as they're going through it, they all do it very differently.
Mhm.
So my sessions are customized to the client, how they do things, because their limiting beliefs may be different than the other person.
Right.
There may be common ones and there'll be different ones.
Mhm.
So as I work with them going through the process, it's helping them discover more of the deeper limiting beliefs that they have not tapped into. They didn't even know that existed. There's a lot of conscious knowing, and the biggest knowing is really the unconscious knowing. So in my coaching session, I teach my clients that it's okay not to know, because, if you already know, then you wouldn't be sitting in front of me in the session. So if you don't know, that's where we start to explore.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. That's
Right.
why you go to a coach to figure out what you don't know.
Right.
Obviously, you have an issue, you have a problem, and the problems can be fixed or solved, or however you want to word it, because every individual is different with how they verbiage. But at the same time, every problem has a solution. You
Right.
just have to go to the right person to help find that solution. It's not, when you go to the mind, when you go to a issue that you're having with your emotional or mental health, it's not a quick fix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that sometimes I have to explain that to potential clients, because, the stigma of hypnosis, oh, it's a quick fix, come and hypnotize me and just tell me what to do, and not everything will be good.
Mhm.
And that's not really the case, because it's not, we don't have any magic, and hypnotherapists don't have any magic. I mean, we're not
Darn, you
magicians.
mean
I
that's all
know.
made up in Hollywood?
I know. Darn. Because I would say to my to potential clients, even students, I said, if I had that power, I would be hanging out at the bank, hanging out with the friends, because I wouldn't be working. What would I be?
Yeah.
It's that I don't have that power. I mean, it's the person sitting in front of me in the session. They are the one that have the power. They are the authority of themselves. I'm not the authority of anyone. I'm the authority to me.
Mhm.
So when people are not familiar with hypnosis, but they're curious, and then there's a little bit of nervousness. It's like, oh, what, it's a little mysterious because of what they see, in Hollywood and stuff,
Mhm.
and on the stage shows. But it's really helping them understand that you're in a very deep relaxation. We hypnotize ourselves every night. So the moment where you're feeling really groggy, you couldn't really keep your eyes open, then you fall asleep,
Mhm.
that moment right there, that's hypnosis. So we're utilizing that state in the session. So you're in a very relaxed state. your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind is fully alert,
Mhm.
and your conscious mind is sleeping. Your unconscious mind is awake. And that's the moment that we utilize to tap into the deeper self for permanent change.
And you have to put in the work. You actually have to go through the steps and you have to follow through.
Correct.
You know,
Yeah.
Evelyn here can't do it for you. She can teach you and she can get you to that state, but it's up to the individual to follow through and put in the work.
Right. Right. Because this is not a lifetime therapy, as opposed to some of the licensed therapy sessions. This is a short-term therapy, depending on how long the person needs it for that change.
Mhm.
And I would say that the work itself, it's not the session. The work itself is between the sessions.
Mhm.
It's what my client is doing, the homework that I give them, the tasks that I give them. One of the major tasks that I give them is listening to the hypnosis audio. So I record the hypnosis part of the session, the last part of the session, and I have them listen to the audio daily between our sessions for reinforcement.
See,
So
that's the same thing even with the licensed psychologist with CBT.
CBT,
Mhm. You have to do the homework.
hmm
If you don't do the homework, the sessions are basically pointless.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what we call this is work in progress, right?
Mhm.
You have to trust the process. If you're putting in the work, I mean, just said anything that you do, if you're not putting in the time to do it, it's not going to be done, and you're not going to see the result.
Right. I mean, I, as a business owner, if I don't work my business, I don't see results in my business. It's the same thing with
Right,
the mind. If you
right,
don't put in the work to change your behavior, your process, or whatever you're doing, whatever the negative is, you're not going to see the positive outcome that you're
Mhm.
expecting.
Right, right. And that's what it's called, the work. I mean, sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not, it's a
Mhm.
little uncomfortable.
Mhm.
However, I'm able to help someone to step out their comfort zone as comfortable as possible, to create that change.
But we are almost out of time. So where can our listeners and our viewers find you?
My website is evelyntwang.com. That's my website. And my phone number, you can reach me at 818-305-5328.
Thank you so much. And we hope
Thank
our
you.
listeners and our viewers reach out to you because this is a solution to so many problems.
Yes, it is. And also, I have some free meditation audios too on the website. So if your listener wanted to experiment with the free audios, they're more than welcome to visit my site and download
Ooh, I love free. I
it.
love free.
So go on the site and get it.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
on the show
you.
today.
Thank you for your time.
And for our viewers and our listeners, happy healing.